we go. Welcome to the Daily Crossing. This is episode number 24. We are finally going to get to the point where we can rent a car. We just need one more.
Yeah,
right?
baby!
Be 25.
I'm excited.
You know, we went through 18, right? You're finally legal to get, what kind of documents they call those documents?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my goodness.
Cigarettes and all kinds of classified documents.
Classified documents,
Yes.
absolutely. Forget about cigarettes. Who cares about cigarettes? What 18 gets you to classified documents.
That's
We
right.
also 21 years old, so people get the chance now to
Drink.
start. Oh man, I thought about how about
25
vote?
we should do over like cigar and
Yes.
beverages.
25.
Graduating.
25.
25,
Yeah,
all
let's
right,
do it.
so
25.
I'm down for it.
Graduated.
Different setup, different setting.
Yeah, next level.
We'll
More mature.
There you go. And
It's a start.
welcome everybody, guys. Great to see you. Great to see you.
Yeah,
Lorena.
I'm on your left.
Yeah, I know. This time, where you really belong. But
That's right.
and did you manage to fire Alexia? Is that what happened?
I don't know. Do we have a...
Replacing
I
Alexia,
know.
we
I
I
have
don't know if I want to
Brianna
call it a
DelValle.
replacement per se.
Yeah,
More
no.
like an addition to the team.
You're much better looking, just so you know.
Yes.
Alexia, I hope you listen.
He's working out.
Miss
He's
you,
gonna make
buddy.
sure that
Yeah. He's got it.
Guys, let me tell you a little bit of the topics that we're going to be covering today. Weren't you a vegan at some point or vegetarian?
I didn't eat.
Pescatarian.
Yeah, I ate a lot of fake
What
meat.
were you exactly?
Right.
No, I don't need animal labels.
Besides
I don't need animal
confused.
labels. Like I'm done with the labels. I
So-
feel like a
But you're,
Girl
you're
Scout with like all the
specific. You're
labels.
specific. Like
If you had to
restrictions.
label me,
Yeah,
I was a
okay,
pescatarian.
Pescatarian. That's
there you
what
go.
it was. So,
Yeah, but I hate that. By the way.
And so
labels, not the pescatarians.
Yes. No more labels.
But here's the great news. You know, it appears that it finally is going to become a very scary reality. We already got to the point of the no-kill meat is about to happen. The Good Meat Company finally has managed to produce a grown type of meat, and we got to see
Sounds delicious.
how this is gonna turn out to be. We'll talk about that a little bit because this obviously is happening for a number of reasons, but we'll dive into that. There was an interview that took place right now. Congress just have again it was going the whole issue with the Durham Report, and they were grilling this man pretty heavily today specifically. You know what I mean? And he's standing his ground. You know what I mean? He's absolutely saying the FBI dropped the ball. You know what I mean? Not absolutely going after, knowing at that point that there was already an intervention by Hillary Clinton, trying to really make a connection between Donald Trump and what was going on with Russia, or creating that narrative, when in reality they knew that it wasn't there, right? So he's telling Congress the FBI absolutely ignored the warnings, right, of Clinton 2016 election plan to tie Trump to Russia. So obviously the possibility of a double standard is emerging for a number of reasons, including the recent development with the first son of the nation, Hunter Biden, is
Pleaded guilty.
He
He said he's guilty. What a nice guy.
And he got what?
It's
How many
something.
years of he's going to be doing? How many is that? Nothing.
A big old donut.
Don't we actually have people who, I mean, the exact same situation has gotten as much as 3 years for the exact same?
And that's under nice circumstances.
I was
So,
gonna say.
Right.
so the law for you and the
No.
law for, so,
Rules for
so it
thee, but not
depends
for
on-
me.
Part of the things that come with being the son of
It
a
appears.
president of the United States.
There you go. A couple of final things. Obviously, it appears that there's a real possibility that a third party can be emerging. It's a significant concern for Democrats right now, for the possibility that any potential breakup can actually get former President Trump reelected if that is the case. So we'll dive into that. There's a couple of people that have been rumored that can potentially have the capability to get that going, man. And so we'll see how that goes. And finally, again, talking about money a little bit, and I think it's important. I want to see if we can address the three ways that people should be paying attention in the process of building wealth, right? We talk about that. As a matter of fact, we were just recently having a conversation about it, so we'll address it a little bit.
Yep.
So I have a question. I have a
Yeah.
question. We're moving into
Bring it.
something else.
I know we're gonna.
You gotta know better than me. But by the way, as I'm one of those guys that I have no issues going through days without having a single piece of meat.
Right.
Like I have no issue. I absolutely enjoyed a lot of stuff. My wife is Indian. Look at the way my daughter looks. You know what I mean? It's nothing to do with me, as you can see, right? And so, but there is an argument about it's good for you as a person, right? Because you're eating something that is supposed to be good for your body, for you, right?
Vegan, right? Being vegan.
Vegan. And there's also an argument that is good for the planet. Right? And it's good for animals.
That's debatable.
And it's good for animals and it's good for no.
The planet thing is debatable.
you get a lot closer to that stuff. So I'm asking you, what was the argument for it? Because you
Before Lorena
No.
gets it, they should
We're-
know her background.
Yeah,
Right.
but we already went through labels. I don't
How
need the
long-
labels
how long-
again.
how
Oh,
long were
I
you
didn't
a
eat meat for
pescatarian?
17 years.
but was your
Yeah,
intention
15,
to
17
go
years.
full vegan
Right.
or your
I was vegan
it like
at some point, but it
you
wasn't
were?
because of the label. It was just I had digestive
it's okay.
situation.
to-
No, like look,
Someone
you want to know how I got back to the whole eating meat process?
Got it.
My grandma was in town,
Ah.
and I said by the
So
way,
was
my
grandma.
grandma, yeah, it's like
So
she
was
was
the
coming
grandma.
in, and I said I'm not gonna say no to whatever my grandma cooks.
Whatever she cooks, yeah.
And so I was loaded up on all kinds of like stuff because I knew I was gonna have stomach issues and God knows what was gonna happen. And it turns out that I didn't have an issue. So I'm a happy meat eater again. So I'm back,
Yeah.
right? No more labels for real. But yeah, like I had a really rough time when it comes to the.
You lost a few friends.
I did lose a few friends. That's fine.
The journey's different for everybody. We don't judge here.
Yeah,
Sure.
totally.
There you
Like,
go.
by the way, respect to people that want to be vegan is fine. It's like for me, it's just.
But you were planning to go. Originally, was the idea to go all the way in, or
No,
not to become
no,
one,
there are
and then you
times-
gradually, because you say you were not a vegan, you were not a vegetarian, you were a pescatarian,
yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
So can you
I was
put the
pescatarian
people
for
to
2
understand
years.
that? For 2 years.
For 2 years.
She's so proud.
I am, because if you know me, you know that how much I love like beef and chicken. I love like meat in general. So the fact that
Chick-fil-A
You're a
I
has-
breaditarian,
I
if
was-
we're talking about.
so the
Chick-fil-A
fact
has
that
a
I-
customer of the month poster.
Right,
somewhere
I've
in there
been
with,
customer of the month.
She
for a
wins it
minute.
every day.
I was pescatarian for 2
Yeah.
years.
So
Yeah.
no, I mean it wasn't anything like that. Fish and seafood was the things that I was able to deal with, and I didn't have to worry about what was gonna happen. And so that was just it. At some points, I did, and just because of you want to do a cleanse or you want to do something like that. So
Reset.
for months at a time or days at a time, I will be vegan. I don't have a problem with it even now. But I did go into the whole eating a lot of like chicken-like things. But never to this extent, It was like I knew it was soy based. I knew it was made out of mung beans. I knew it was made out of jackfruit. Like whatever the vegan alternative was. Jackfruit is delicious, by the way. I would still eat it regardless of right. But there's some stuff like the chicken that they have on certain fast foods. It's like gross, in my opinion. It's like so terrible. It's like just eat cheese, or you can't even eat chease, whatever it is. Eat
Yeah,
the vegetables,
but
avocados.
the reason why I'm asking you
Yeah.
is because obviously there has been a movement. There is a company called Beyond Meat, right?
Yeah.
And they put out there a lot of stuff that the whole idea was to
It's really
come
bad.
up with something that was going
Yeah,
to
you know, I
replace
was
the
never
idea
a
of
fan.
eating meat, right?
Yeah.
Apparently not as tasty as
No.
people were hoping to.
No.
But this is something a little different that's taking place here, right? Is they are actually growing meat out of cells that were extracted from animals, right? So it's supposed to look like and potentially taste like, and so a lot of this.
But is not. Let's make sure
well,
we're clear about
I mean,
it. But
it's
is
not. It's not natural. It's not organic. It's not natural, right? It's not organic.
But
it's
it
not-
comes from the
so
cell.
it's
like
anything
lab
that
grown.
But
is
technically
lab
it is
grown.
from an animal.
And so, how much of it can we call it synthetic? You know what I mean? How much of it can be
100% synthetic.
Well, but again, if it's grown, if there's cells actually extracted, if there what's going to be, we haven't seen what the final product looks like, but what they claiming is that it's going to actually have the ability to embrace the taste. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to give you the chance to comment about, right? First of all, to me, this still is part of that movement that is potentially trying to replace the idea of us actually eating animals, right?
Like we've been doing since.
Like since the dawn of time,
Yes.
right? But it's also, there is a group of people, Bill Gates heavily involved in this, by the way, a guy that always gets me nervous every time they're saying that he's buying a lot of land, that he's buying this kind of, investing in this kind of companies. That they actually want to reduce even the amount of certain animals just because of the amount of gas they produce, which is apparently being one of the factors that affects the ozone layer. So the whole conversation about global warming, whether you believe on it or don't believe on it, or you accept it or don't accept it, a lot of that this is in many ways connected or originated from that conversation. You know what I mean? So the second component is the whole, again, going back to individual health, is not good to eat animal things. You know, it's not. So obviously, if Alexi is a full vegan, right? And so
He's got vegan muscles, by the way.
I'm curious to see
For
exactly,
real.
right? I mean, and so
Vegan muscles.
so
Sorry, not this one. Vegan muscles.
So, what is your take about the whole green movement that supports this idea? As of this moment, it appears to be something that's going to be super expensive. They're only going to roll it out on a few restaurants just to see how everybody's responding to it, and then find a way to make it more available to the public. Obviously, price is going to be a factor, right? If it's going to be more expensive than regular meat, only a few people, for whatever reason, would choose to have that opposed to doing something that would be normal, right?
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not a fan of frankenfood ever. No, for real. It's like even genetically modified and all that stuff. Like that's always something that is scary. I was listening to this lady, Barbara O'Neill, and she was talking about the history of wheat. And how right now wheat that was supposed to grow like this is like growing down to here, and that's why a lot of people have a lot of insulin resistance and stuff like that. So to me, it's like this is going in that direction. You know, we messed wheat up so much that it's actually harming us, and there's a lot of people that are having issues with diabetes and stuff like that because of that. By the way, you can be vegan and be completely healthy, like Alexi, right? Or you can be vegan and be still overweight, have terrible, issues when it comes to health and stuff like that. So it also has to do with what you're putting into your body, how processed it is and stuff like that. The first thing that popped into my mind when I said this is like no kill meat, but still uses animal cells. I'm like, I wonder what PETA thinks about, it's like and I see your reaction. I don't know where they're at when it comes to this, but to me it's scary messing with our foods and putting stuff in there that can cause harm. It's like, what else can be put into something that you can quite literally like breed from a lab. Like I just don't.
Fair enough. What do you fear about this?
Me, to be honest, I know we could sit here and we're going to talk about all the fears, but like, I think at this point...
She's excited.
I'm not, it's not that I'm excited, I'm actually very curious because this is not the first time that something's rolled out and initially everybody's like, what in the world is that? But people hop on board. So what's going to be the selling point?
Would you try it?
Would I try no-kill meat? I mean, it depends. Like, I'd have to look into the logistics of, like, what's in it. I'm sure they're going to have some type of label on it that tells you what it is.
It's already cleared by the FDA.
No, that's great for the FDA.
Sure.
That's
like
great.
whatever that
there's
means.
the FDA, and then there's me. So, right, there's, like, a transition of, like, what I'm willing to, like, accept and or not accept. But I would really like to know, like, what's going to be the selling point. You're going to put it into fine restaurants, so I'm assuming it's going to be some type of a a luxury effect or some type of
Well,
benefit in that sense? If
selling
it's going to be
points.
more expensive than actually eating,
Let's talk about
animal
selling
meat?
points. It's good for the planet.
okay.
Is it?
Supposed to be. Well, that's the argument.
Oh,
Those
okay.
are the selling points.
I'm just checking.
It's
It's gonna
good
be
for
good.
the
Farting
it's
cows.
good for the
Exactly.
environment. Okay,
There's
there's
less
a
gas
difference.
involved,
Let's
so-
be very clear. There's a difference. There's one thing between being good for the environment and being good for the planet, meaning for the people that inhabit the planet,
Okay.
right? So it's like, is it, yes, are they going to push it as something that's environmental friendly?
It's part of the green movement. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So-
And of course they'll get a lot of people just on that note alone.
Correct.
But when it comes to, recently I've been seeing, I'm not gonna lie, I get a little nervous when I see celebrities hop on certain bandwagons.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Kim Kardashian is already hopping on this type of bandwagon. And so whenever I see celebrities get like all types of hooked up into it, I'm like, what's the catch?
Well, they get paid for it, and that's
I get it, but
it's
they're
like,
not gonna
look,
put their,
trust
but
me,
they're not
Kim
gonna.
is not eating whatever the crap she was.
For celebrities, especially
It's
high
like-
status celebrities, at some
I
point
ate
it's not about the
chicken.
price
It was
tag.
like dog
It's
food.
about the
I mean, let's face it. If they
The
endorse
association,
it, if they
right.
start endorsing a lot of
right.
people.
So I would really love to know like what's gonna be the
I
selling
don't
point in it.
necessarily go to the restaurant saying, "What was the one thing that Kim Kardashian
All I'm
was
saying is that don't be
suggesting to have for dinner
surprised.
tonight?" But I understand
That's
what you're
funny.
saying.
You
Yeah.
don't?
How powerful those things happen to be when it
Absolutely.
comes to
Wonders
that
what Kanye
endorsement.
And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised as much as we think that, wow, this is crazy. Do not be surprised if they find a way for something like this to like make
Make it
sense.
mass, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So nothing's ever
I
too
mean,
crazy.
there's still a lot of information
would you-
missing in terms of
Why
you know,
is
what
the
would be
Department
the-
of Agriculture
what
involved?
would be
like
the-
that's,
the-
like I'm just trying to understand.
Environment. Told you so.
Oh
But
my
again, you know what I
God.
mean, we're going into
Like
the
the-
whole environmental conversation, right? And make no
So
mistake
they need
that
the okay.
number one motivation.
So that they can say it's environmental.
Just think about it. You know, the conversation here hasn't been anything about any nutritional benefits to the individual. Like, if it's being designed and grown in a lab environment, then you more than likely can say, hey, we can make it even more nutritional for you, and only God knows what's going to go into it. How much of it will be able to replicate a natural set of benefits and taste and all of those things, it remains to see. Would I try it to the extent of trying it? Yeah, I'll try it. Yeah. I'm up to just to see what it will taste like. Would I make that into? I'm very positive that the answer will be no. Not even as an exotic. You know, people have to develop a taste for certain things, and this
like
is
that
not
coffee that comes from the cat.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely not from the cat. It's from the monkey.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Same thing.
It's like, I know that doesn't
Someone
sound right.
takes
Yeah,
it.
it's the most expensive.
Yeah, that's what I
coffee
mean. It's like
in the
I'm
planet.
not. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's like you wouldn't even know. You would just go, phenomenal.
I
You
really
just don't drink coffee. That's what it is. Otherwise,
I don't wanna make that
I would actually make that happen if you drank coffee. Like you wouldn't even know you're drinking coffee that came out of a monkey's butt.
And also,
But,
I have a question. Like, what
Mhm.
are long-term effects of
Yeah,
kill
it's
meat?
like that for me.
You
it's
know?
like-
So, like, what are we gonna be seeing here? Is it another thing that, oh, this is just like a trend that we're gonna hop on? But it's like, you know, we're at a point where it's like we're trying to solve for issues without, like, with an immediate status that we could be compromising something future related.
like what happened with wheat.
Right. So,
it's like,
but you
we have a whole
mentioned
country
you
that
mentioned
is-
PETA, right? And that is a group that obviously is against any harm or the slaughter
The
of
sales gotta
animals,
come in
right?
from somewhere.
You know what I mean? But that's so
Right.
that group is gonna be happy with the idea
I
that
do-
hey, we can replace that and they're not gonna slaughter animals, except for the fact that okay, so how do they feel about the idea that they're actually extracting cells? So there is
They're not happy with
Somewhat,
makeup because makeup
correct.
has got
So-
Animal testing.
Yes.
but again, you're reducing you know, again this will be the least of two evils, right? And so there's an argument to be made about that. And then there's the other group that is supporting environmental causes, you know what I mean? So don't be surprised if there's a significant amount of people that will get behind this
absolutely.
and support it. But in the meantime,
I'm happy eating cows.
So will you try it?
I'll try it.
Okay.
Make it a lifestyle. I don't know. I'll try anything.
You'll try it also, right? you won't even know. I'll just make sure
Oh man.
I'll buy it. We having dinner at home. She'll come over, and she'll go,
Mind you,
yummy.
that's how I've tested many things.
Yeah.
Okay, when it comes to food,
That was
my
liver.
life.
Oh.
And in our house, we didn't get to ask questions. It's like, what is that? Try it.
Try
and
it.
once you try it, then I will tell you.
Yeah.
So
And-
maybe it might be that. We'll
And
see.
you couldn't say I don't like it. You had to try it first, because how
Right.
can you say you don't like something if you never tried it, right?
So I got hooked on wine.
Yeah. But anyway, listen, the fact of the matter is that there's a lot more information that has to come out about this, and I don't know how soon it's going to be really ready, available in the market, but you taking a glance of what the future is going to look like, even when it comes to what we're going to be eating and all this stuff.
Artificial
that-
everything. Intelligence,
Yeah,
cows, chickens,
so
like.
definitely changing.
sounds
you know what I mean?
awesome.
So,
Living in the future.
but anyway, guys, I want to move on to a couple of things related to previous election and current situation with not only Department of Justice, but obviously in one end was taking place. Former President Trump is facing a significant set of issues, very clear, very intense. At least it feels like the way his issue is being addressed is really intensively persecuted in a way that leaves no doubt somebody's after this guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is,
They
and
have
then
it
you
out
have
there.
on the other side, right? Our current president, his family, that rumors of corruption appears to be there are no longer rumors. It's just a matter of at what point there are better layers of confirmation. So, a couple of things, right? The Durham Report, and he was just recently interviewed by Congress, right? And by the way, questioning his credibility. You know, this man, his answer at some point was, I am only concerned about the opinion of people whose opinion I respect,
Right.
my family, and God,
Mm-hmm.
right? Making it very clear that he knows that right now they're going to attack him for what he produced. What he produced was simply a document stating FBI chose to ignore everything that they knew about the effort that Hillary Clinton was making during the 2016.
The first effort.
Yeah, the first, right? To link Donald Trump to the whole Russia situation. At the end of the day, whether it takes 10 more years, or the whole thing is going to come out. And the thing about certain politicians right now is that they just they couldn't care less about, they're going to say whatever they need to say, either to get elected or to support a position. And that's the scary thing about the whole process, right? They will do whatever. Are you guys paying attention to what's happening with this situation? What's your take on it specifically?
I wonder if this guy is also gonna magically, like, you know,
Hang himself
yeah,
and then
yeah, it's
get a
like commit
shotgun
suicide,
and,
something like that. Yes,
you know.
just because whatever
Yeah.
he's saying and stuff like that. Well, don't be surprised.
It's got really good.
So that was that was the first thing that popped into my mind. The second thing is, again, this is they talk about election interference, and you are uncovering this years after you know it attempted to happen, and then you're looking at what's happening currently with the election that's not even underway yet. Like, it's not even official yet, but there's a couple candidates that have thrown their hats in there, and the attack is still there. So what do they have against Trump? That's one, right? Number two, going back to this the Durham Report and
the question is, who is they? Yeah, this is somebody who was very clear about, you know, the fact that he had no issues taking advantage of the fact that he was the son of a senator for 40 plus years, the vice president for 8 years, and now the current president. So since this is somebody that's saying, I understand my position, understand my issues, but I also know the benefits around me. And for anybody that's looking at this whole situation,
where I can leverage.
correct,
right.
correct. So, but I'm highlighting that for the simple fact that what just happened right now with Hunter Biden pleading guilty on misdemeanor tax charges, right? Where eventually he's walking away with no liabilities with other people who obviously are not the son or daughters of the current vice
How
president.
many people are in jail
Ended
right now
up
because of
doing
that?
like there's
tax
specific
evasion.
cases of just about the exact same scenario. People doing 3 years though, and this is where people start losing faith on the whole system. When they're saying, "Listen, at the end of the day, it's not even about what you know. It's who do you know? Who are you connected to?" And that's a significant breakdown. So how do you guys feel about this moment when you're looking into everything? Again, in light of what's taking place with President Trump, in light of the fact that our current president is not yet, at least hasn't been charged with any specific, I don't know, many suggestions, many allegations, right?
What's crazy is that like the Trump boxes for the Mar-a-Lago came out of left field. You know, it's like no one knew about it. Yet there's something happening that everybody keeps on talking about it. Everybody knows about it, but then nothing is being prosecuted.
What do you think it would have happened if this would have been
Donald
Trump Jr.?
Yeah.
Oh, this
Yeah,
would have been
it
taken
would have been,
care
like,
of. We
of
would have
course.
made public
How many
trial.
years? How many
Orange
years?
suit, like
How
Right.
many years do you think this?
it would have been the dark ages. There would have been a public burning.
And that is the issue. The issue is that,
Rules for
like,
me,
like
not for me.
as we have this
Right.
conversation, though, you got to get to a point where you're saying, if somebody, by the way, so I'm the only reason why I'm introducing the conversation about the addictions and all of these things is to say somebody who gets addicted at that level, at some point you do certain things that
Well,
are not
stupid.
good,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Now, there's a difference between doing stupid things and breaking the law.
Right.
Right? And if you break the law, regardless of who you are, right, the same set of laws should apply to every
everybody,
citizen of
right.
the country, right? And that is the guiding principle of justice being blind.
So
But that's not what we got going on here.
right. Well, there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, specifically the charges, because it's like funny enough, it's just the taxes,
Mhm.
right? He just filed his taxes late, and then also, what a nice guy. He turned himself in because of guns. You know, so of course, guns are the bad guy. So there's a gun charge right there. You know, and that just gets me going. On one end. The second thing, there's nothing related to whatever's happening with Russia, China, Ukraine, all of the different places, all of the allegations that, again, are we going to, from 2016, 2015, when the campaign was going, with this whole, what is it? Where they're saying they ignored the facts, right? Are we going to have 6-8 years from now, they ignore the facts that this was happening?
But they do
when
it
it's
right
at the
now.
I understand, but like what happens is that 6 years is too late. So
Correct.
two things I wanted to highlight about this. Number one, yes, there is an actual mental health crisis in this country and it's not being addressed,
Correct.
right? And so people say, I lose faith in the process. This is a message for you. If you lose faith in the process, this is the time to double down. Right? It's not, I lost faith in the process, so I'm going to stop voting. No,
What do you mean?
go and
How
you
do-
pick up
how
a
do I
couple
double
people
down?
and go vote. Understand what is happening here. See what by the way, if you agree with whatever this thing is being handled, go pick up a couple people to vote for Biden to be elected again. But if you don't and you're pissed off about this, then go pick up a couple people. Don't lose faith in the process. Double freaking down. 4 or 5 people come with you to go register to vote. If you haven't, go register. If you are registered to vote as a Democrat, right? I am a registered Democrat. You can look it up. Okay, but if you are registered, if you're not registered to, if you are registered to vote, regardless of what it is, go exercise your right to vote. It's not ice cream your way to vote. It is
Right.
exercise your way to vote, like your right to vote for a reason. So double down and demand accountability. How do you demand accountability? If we the people, guys, there's a bunch of us, right? And there's only a few people in power. If we all there's a reason why things haven't gotten out of hand, and it's because how many people in the U.S.?
328 to 330 million people.
All right,
now.
cool. And guns haven't been.
That's not including the
Yeah,
recent
yeah.
rush of undocumented.
Those guys are gonna be pulling for the other side, to a certain extent. But then on the other side, there's guns, right? So it's like we have the right to defend ourselves. So it's like there's a reason why there's certain things that are happening, but the envelope is being pushed so much.
Correct.
On this end that we gotta double down. So if you don't like what's happening, don't lose faith in the system. Go double down, get a couple of your friends to go register to vote. I don't care if you're 18, 20, 21, 20, whatever it is, go register. And then at the time of going to vote, go do it. Go exercise your right to vote. This is the time where you double down so that you can hold these people accountable. That's it. It's that simple.
For me, guys, moments like this is where I'm asking everybody to go. Just take the time to understand what makes it right, what makes it wrong, right? Because I'm not trying to promote one political party against the other, but it really is becoming almost impossible to support the Democrat platform with so many of the stupid things that are actually going on. There's lack of common sense. It doesn't seem to have sound financial principles. It doesn't seem to have especially any real interest on preserving the law. As a matter of fact, the argument is that they are essentially weaponizing, the Department of Justice to go after the people they don't like and they don't agree with them, and they are, given a green light or just allowing people to get away with things that they should be. With everything that we know today about Hillary Clinton, why is she not like seriously being interrogated?
At least.
Forget about investigated. At this point, it's just it really is to the point where if you actually were an active individual that created all this lie, how much money was wasted? How much? Taxpayer dollars just to try. And this is the person that at some point. This is the same person that wanted to be the president of this country. That's that. For you to play that dirty and to be able to get away with it and not to be, I don't know, some kind of trouble, arrested though. Yes.
How is it that these guys are so good at recruiting?
Well,
think about it. How is it that they're so good at recruiting?
Because what are they selling though? They're selling victimhood, and recruiting victims is the easiest. That's the easiest crowd to recruit. Oh, poor you! Look what they're doing to you. Yes, look what they're doing to me.
Right.
And
you're talking about one of the main
but
issues.
at the FBI level, CIA level, the DOJ level.
Well,
you know
that's
what
different.
I mean?
No. But that is different, because if we all agree that these guys are really in control of a lot of the things that many things that people don't even want to accept or even pay attention to, or we don't even believe that they have the capability to. What do you have a group of people that are holding on to power no matter what? And so to the question of who's running the country, these institutions today have people that are not going to give up, and that it would be connected to a number of issues that I don't even want to get into right now because it'll take us 3 hours to break it down. But recruiting a certain group of people, FBI, CIA, DOJ, really has a lot to do with people that had been either career politicians or career professional people in these environments that don't want to give up power and don't want to give up the ability that they have. They have the ability to control the narrative. Listen, it's a little scary every time the president gets in front of everybody and says, "Okay, I can't answer any more questions because I'm gonna get myself in trouble." With whom? You, the president.
Yeah.
Who's gonna get? Oh, they're gonna be very angry with me. Who's gonna be very angry with you?
Yeah. No, that's
But
I understand what you're saying.
At some point, they're say they told me not to answer any more questions. Who dares tells you not to answer any more questions?
So the reason why I'm asking about recruiting, because up until my knowledge, right now there's two parties.
Correct.
But it seems like one party is doing a way better job of recruiting these institutions and the other one is not.
1,000%.
What's the game plan? Let's play chess and be all right, here's the strategy to get those guys to flip if it's even possible. Like, is that even a possibility?
Republicans are not. They first of all, they are too factual. They are too realistic when it comes to the conversation. I always use the example of Ben Shapiro. You're familiar with Ben, right?
Yeah.
So, and I said that, a couple of his books, I read a couple of his books, and one of them, it was just impossible because the fact that he was so right about so many things that were wrong, that he was actually describing with accuracy. And that was the painful part, right? Like everything that was wrong that he was highlighting, and he was 100% accurate about it. And I'm like, wow, this is so factual. It's so, as a matter of fact, that it almost gets to a point that, like, I'm a guy who's actually close enough to understanding just about everything that he's describing, and it was not a pleasant experience to actually read the material because it was a little bit of a downer, right? So what do the Democrats come to do? We're gonna make your life easier. We're gonna make sure that you don't pay for this many things. We're gonna see if we can get you additional money. How about a free cell phone?
What's their language to the
DOJ? Gonna have we are going to allow you to continue to play the role. You're gonna keep the power.
Got it.
You're gonna be the ones to, if anybody tries to take you down, don't worry about it. We got your back. Nobody's gonna touch you. In the meantime, make sure that we don't get touched.
Right.
And
Scratch my back, I scratch yours.
1,000%.
Yeah.
That 1,000%. That has always been the game plan.
Whoa!
But here's the interesting scenario, guys. when you look at a moment like this, so right now there's a big fear, and I mentioned earlier, there's a possibility of a third party emerging. A couple of people that can make that happen. John Manchin is Joe Manchin, right? It's not John, it's Joe Manchin. Senator Manchin has been a guy who, has given
as center as you can be.
Right? So he's actually scaring a significant amount of Democrats right now because he is a leading name at the top of the list of somebody that can literally say, you know what, I'm going to run as an independent, or I'm going to run as whatever it is today, the no-name party they call it right now. If this man makes that choice, he will definitely pull enough Democrats away that will secure a win for anybody who becomes the Republican candidate running for the whole situation, right? Yes, he's the senator for West Virginia. And then, but guys, in addition to him, I keep telling you, do not discount what's going on with Robert Kennedy Jr. 20%, he right now, as it is at this moment, is a 20% favorability when it comes to Democrats. He had a long
you won't be
interview.
able to get in the debate stage.
But the problem is that there will be no debates when it comes to the primary for Democrats.
That is. Wasn't America founded on like?
Right.
Well,
hey,
but just think about it, right?
We're gonna lock ourselves here. We're gonna make this document.
The last time they were able to successfully use COVID-19 to keep this man locked up in a basement, and everybody said it was health reasons. As a matter of fact, President Trump was heavily criticized every time he was holding a rally. It was like 3,000 people, highly responsible. Oh, look at President Biden. He's actually candidate Biden. You know what I mean? And there's only 6 people that came to see him, but that's because we don't want anybody to be. No, there was only 6 people that were essentially following whatever it is that he was trying to say. So they kept him locked up. But COVID-19 provided that excuse that you don't have to be out there that much. It's not good. It's not good for everybody to organize unless you Black Lives Matter, right? And you can be protesting and have 3,000 people burning stuff. But that's different, right? This time around, they said, well, we don't have COVID-19 right now. We can't hide it in a basement. So here's how we're going to fix it. No debates for the primary. And if that is the case, though, and the primary takes place, I think it will be a failure and will miss a great opportunity for somebody like Robert Kennedy Jr. not to take the stand to say, I'm going to go as an independent. And really give them a run for their money. Because I'm going to tell you, I mean, I don't agree with certain things or certain of his positions, but at this point, when you're talking about going back to normality, by the way, people that
Is there
these
such a
three
thing?
letter institutions that we keep talking about would be very concerned about is either Donald Trump or Robert Kennedy
Right.
Jr., given the history of
Yep.
what happened to his uncle,
No, in his
what happened to
position,
his father, and his position is very clear. But by the way, the only third candidate that is very clear about something that has to be done with these institutions is your boy
My man, it's like Vivek.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Have you looked this guy up, Brianna? Oh
His,
my God, you gotta look him up.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that guy is amazing.
He will absolutely be a phenomenal
He'll run
president
this
if he
country
gets
like
to
a
a point,
CEO.
right? And but the fact of the matter is that again, you know,
He needs
he's
a bigger
just
mouth.
he hasn't had that moment
You
yet
need a
when
bigger
he's
mouth,
connected.
Vivek.
And not only that, it's like when he gets the mic, though. You know what I mean? You can again, don't be a Ben Shapiro. Don't be so factual. Don't be so. You got to be a little more empathetic. I keep saying this just about every video that we have in a conversation about Vivek. So please, whoever is handling your campaign, they need to sit you down and remind you that you got to look at people and say, I understand what you're going through. I understand your fears. I understand your concerns. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that you are the real beneficiary of all the changes that we're going to make in this country. You, the citizen of this country, will really be able to be proud of being an American again, and you will have the ability to reap the benefits of being part of this great land. You're not doing that. You're just saying it in a way that is extremely factual, and you're not connecting with a big group of people.
Saying the truth.
That yeah, but again, listen.
Yeah, the truth sucks.
All I'm saying is that if this happens, if a third party emerges, there's absolutely no way
Biden makes it.
Biden makes it. By the way, there is a suggestion that the counterbalance to that would be to support somebody from the right, to try to come up with a third party run, to see if they will take away a somebody like a Chris Christie, to see if they can take away enough
Chris
votes
Christie.
from former governor of New Jersey, who right now has 0, and 3 full pizzas as momentum going on for him. But this is a guy that's saying a lot of nasty stuff about Donald Trump, and I'm sure that some people would be willing to put a lot of money just to keep him going, saying negative things about Trump. Any final thoughts about the possibility of a third party? Would you like to see that happening? Would you like to see more political parties emerging in the country? Will that be more confusing for people that only right now have a binary structure where they say, okay, this or that, right? And what happened if you had a few more?
So here is the way that I look at it. There's gotta be a debate. As long as there is a debate,
Even if it's only
then
Yeah.
two. Even if it's only 2 parties. But
yeah, no, but
It's
especially
one of my
because there's
favorites.
only 2. And you know, people get attracted to the whole like even popcorn effect that comes with it. Like people have like
Correct.
debate bingo that happens with a third party, definitely, because you gotta know who is the person, and we also gotta make sure that we know who is gonna be mediating the debate. But I get excited about that just because you have the opportunity to. Man, if the 2 front runners are it, then we're failing as a country to produce like real leadership. You know what I mean? Which is
Here are a few things that we need to be concerned about. By the way, will you support? Would you like the idea of a third party? Would you?
I actually would. I would enjoy the idea of a third party.
What do you think
now.
would be the benefit right now?
To be honest, a lot of people are turned off about the Republican Democrat. They're very turned off about it, to the point that they want nothing to do with the information. It's like, you would be surprised the amount of people that's like, no, that party sucks and that party sucks. I want nothing to do with voting. So I think even opening up the door to a third party coming in, and it doesn't have to be something that it's like a crazy amount of different parties that are being debuted at this moment. Believe it or not, we have a fair few already. It's just
Sure.
not the
not big enough.
They're not getting exposure.
Exactly, the same way that Republicans and Democrats do. But I think what it would do is like open up that door and be like, third party, what is going on here? Now let me really look into this. It kind of like reintroduces to the idea to the people of like, there's something else happening in this mix. Let me at least understand that before I completely write this off.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of people look at this like, I've seen this movie, I want nothing to do with this movie. This is like a twist and turn. Wait a second, you mean there's another option? All right, what is that about, you know? So I think it would be healthy to have it be incorporated, because now you're opening up a whole new door. I mean, what have we been talking about this whole time? Understand your rights, know where you stand, these are your options. Like, this is like a whole new realm of for people to be able to go ahead and, so I think it would actually be super beneficial, believe it or not. Now, will it be to the extent that, you know, a lot of people would hope that it is? I don't know. But I do know that it would definitely open the door to a lot more people putting themselves in a position to become more knowledgeable about, you know, what's going on here and what this is about. So personally, I think it makes sense for me. And I love, to be honest, I need a debate too. Like, that is like my popcorn moment. I need the debate to happen. I just, let me tell you, I set aside everything for that moment. And just because I feel like so much is exposed there.
I used to watch the debate just so I could keep up with it when SNL was good.
Yeah.
It was so
Saturday
funny.
Night Live, yeah.
I'm like, I used to literally watch the debate just so I could see it in SNL and get every point. It was too funny. Anyway.
Well, having a conversation with our friend Patrick David, we all agree that this is a time where it's definitely this will be the right moment for multiple new things. You know, first of all, definitely a new political party, right?
Right.
Dealing with the level of corruption, and like you said, something extremely important also, which is the fact that a lot of people right now are just really unhappy with one and the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not that right now when somebody's making a choice of going with one political party, for the people that are paying attention, they're saying, listen, I just can't support that anymore, so I'm going to have no choice to go with the only other alternative, right?
Right.
So definitely there's a possibility for a new, the same way that we were saying, this is also the time for even a new religion to emerge. When you think about the level of corruption, you know, I need to be struck by what struck Paul was a vision. It was not lightning, right? Because I'm not going to be asking for lightning to strike me unless I'm holding on to you and then we all go. But
hold the umbrella. One is right here.
No, my point to you is that, hey guys, look at the current situation of the country, right? It's not just the financial side of it, right? And we'll give a little bit of a few suggestions for people financially also. But level of corruption when it comes to politics. When you're looking into what's going on with our educational system right now, when you're thinking about the level of confusion that has been generated out of this whole transgender conversation that really is taking the country to real bad places, and the immigration crisis that we have going on and how individuals are treated, how do we get the country to go back to just a better place, a little more common sense that it appears to be not that common anymore, right? How do we address those things? I think that a real strong debate is needed about it. I do actually ask for everyone, to the best of your ability, get involved. You know what I mean? Look for information. Look for what's actually taking place. Don't run away from at least understanding what's happening around you, because as we go into making a few recommendations, we're talking about the three phases of building wealth, right? The three phases of wealth, right? Which is right now something that we need to be paying attention to, right? How to build wealth, how to protect it, right? And the last one obviously is how to do proper distribution of wealth, right? The reason why people need to pay attention to all of these conversations is because at the end of the day, it has the capability to affect your bottom line.
Yep.
And so, how do we build wealth, right? This obviously, this is a moment where more than anything else, it's no longer the idea of saving money that was rooted in our DNA for many years. Even that concept alone is being challenged, right? So savings, to an extent, but investments are going to be needed. In addition to investments, you finding different ways to learn how to make more money. Like this is something that we've been promoted, additional income. You're gonna need to find a way, especially if you wanna be able to compete with what's going on with prices and marketplace, equipping yourself. So any recommendations right now, guys, for how to build wealth?
My number one thing is choose entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And you're gonna hear me if you go back to every video. I said the same thing. Number one thing is choosing entrepreneurship. It's very difficult to build wealth when you're at the highest tax bracket, and that's being an employee. The second thing is learn sales. Whether you don't wanna become an entrepreneur, you need to learn how to sell yourself into a new position at your current job. Or whatever it is. So learning sales, it will help you as an entrepreneur. It will help you as an employee in a competitive environment to be picked, and all of that stuff. So those are the two things. And the last one for me will be find a way to pay less taxes legally. By the way, don't go. You're not Biden's son, right? Yeah, it's like you're not Biden's son. You will go to jail if you avoid taxes for real. You know what I mean? So it's like don't do that, but find ways for you to legally find a good accountant, find a good person that can provide you the guidance that can help you pay less taxes, because that is one of the enemies of wealth as well. When you're talking about building it, if you're getting cut every single time, and with all the wars that are happening and all the free checks that we're giving out, it's a matter of fact and a matter of time that taxes are going to go up. So find a way to create strategies and vehicles where you don't pay as much taxes.
I'm a young person. I'm trying to figure out how to build wealth. You know what I mean? What are the recommendations?
For me, I like what Lorena started with choosing entrepreneurship, but there's like a step before that a lot of people miss, and that's taking the personal accountability. And knowing that choosing entrepreneurship, just because you choose entrepreneurship doesn't mean that it's going to come to you in every piece that makes sense. It really means that like you making the decision for yourself that there is going to be a lot of things that you're going to have to go and develop and understand on your own first, and there is a transition process. If you come from a background where you've been an employee for a long time, or you've been groomed in that type of environment, like choosing entrepreneurship, there is like a whole other level mentally that you have to be at. So making that a priority in the beginning as well, because that's actually what's going to take you through the long haul. When it comes to developing wealth and all of those things, connecting yourself to the right industry, connecting yourself to the right mentorship, and understanding like if you're gonna be choosing the path to wealth, you got to know about the things that's happening today. You have to be well informed, because these things, believe it or not, as far distance as it seems like it has nothing to do with you, things like this do make a financial impact in the world, and you got to know the position that you're playing. Sometimes there's this misconception that you always got to start over. Oh, this doesn't work, start over. Nah, maybe you just need to like change the position that you're coming at it in. And so that's why working with a great mentor for me is probably going to be like one of the top ones, especially if you're a young person. Working with a mentor is going to be that leading and guiding factor, and being consistent and having discipline. Like, honestly, that's what sets you aside. It's, we could both be doing the same thing, but the consistency and discipline is actually going to change the outcome.
Correct.
Right? So just knowing like those key factors, and knowing that like as if you're sitting here, if you're a young person, you're taking notes on what it is that I'm saying, know that it's a lot easier to put on paper than it is to implement in real life. And making the steps like every single day, even if it's just a step, it's better than sitting here and don't be that person too. That's another thing, is like waiting to see, okay, I need to see the whole step from step 1 to step 12. Don't do that, because while you're examining each step, somebody's already at step 5. Okay, and you haven't even taken the first step. So just those simple things, like those concepts that are simple but boring, they're also the hardest things. That just those key factors, and with combining all of it, you will find yourself in a position where you're going to be able to be profitable, which is the long-term goal. But I mean, really, like, really in endorsing and embracing this whole environment, finding out about these things, because it does affect you. It really does. If you haven't noticed already, every time you go to the gas station, every time you go to the grocery store, that's just not like a miraculous thing that happens.
Correct.
These are the day-to-day things that are the result of, the things we're discussing.
So choosing to identify myself as a successful CEO, multi-millionaire, is absolutely not enough for millions of dollars to show up in my bank, is what you guys are saying.
Yes.
No, it's
You're
not
gonna
that
have to do
easy.
some work. You're gonna
Yes.
have to do take a few steps. But I think it's important to embrace that recommendation. Start where you are. Use the tools that you have. You know what I mean? Get close to anything that would allow you to get started in that direction. Pay attention to what are the choices that you can potentially have to make some additional income. This is an important time for people that, and by the way, every time we actually face a financial crisis, even though there's a lot of pain connected to that, there's also a lot of entrepreneurial activity that takes place, because a lot of people will precisely go through that transition that you were describing. They will definitely come to realize, okay, wait a minute, working, meaning doing what I do in this job, is only going to allow me to go, even if everything goes well, I already have this ceiling that's going to limit how much money I can make, how far I can go. So, and I'm also in a very vulnerable position where I can be let go just like that. With that being said, guys, protecting wealth and the distribution of wealth, I just want to simplify it for me, is the concept of quality of life, right? You got to look at the quality of life that you have right now. How much money does it take for you to have it? And so how can you continue to produce that, to protect the ability to have the capability to have that, not only now, but also for the later years when somebody's not able to work? Something that everybody needs to pay attention. There's a lot that was covered here, and I'm actually definitely curious to hear a little bit about your closing remarks about these topics and conversations. What are you telling everybody right now?
Pay attention. Make sure that you find your own places to look at different things. Definitely go vote and recruit a couple of people to go vote with you. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you need to register to vote if you haven't already. There's many people that are not. And as far as the money thing, go make it. Find a way, find a mentor, read good books, surround yourself in an environment that you'll be able to learn about how to make money, how to build wealth, and how to protect it and distribute it. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
For me, my message is probably going to be along the lines of understanding to read between the lines, take initiative, like go out there and make it a personal accountability that you're understanding what's happening, because these things do affect you, even in the long term. And so understanding the position that you're going to be playing is now more important than ever. With elections and things coming up, like now's the time. You don't want to get caught up in the craze of learning and trying to understand these concepts when you're
know
being
your
sold.
position right now.
Right. So understand what's happening. Know the stance that you're taking on it, and do your best to make sure that you're being proactive about that process, because it does make a difference. So.
I think in terms of quality of life, I love seeing super successful people. Obviously, we all love the story of the person that came out of nothingness and nowhere and was able to build something very special. In many ways, that really reflects what the American dream is all about. You know? But I also don't have issue with families that had managed to amass wealth and then use it to continue to to do that wealth transfer that should be taking place from generation to generation. If anything, there are specific communities that are very good about doing that, and some of us barely know the basics when it comes to even understanding what's going on around us. For me, I'm always asking, and I will continue to ask everyone, find a way to just consume content or information, knowledge. You know what I mean? It's like for some people, it's like in my case, I love to hold the physical book. I love to highlight. Looks like a crime scene. You know what I mean? It's like I enjoy that process, and so I get a lot from that process. I know that a lot of people like the audible experience. I think that's you and my
Yeah.
wife. There's a group of people that are in that department. I think the video also kind of changed the game a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because now you were able to see live conversations, live communications. You know, you have to put a little bit of time into the process of understanding what's going on around you, politically, financially, and needless to say, when it comes to some of the choices that you got to make for the benefit, for your benefit and the benefit of your family. So stay in there. Find your way, find your process, find something that's going to help you to make it happen, whatever it is, whether it's videos or listening to something or reading something. I love the idea of finding, you both are highlighting the benefit of having good mentors in your life, you know what I mean, people that either already have a proven track record of success or people that have such a great vision that are, instead of recruiting you into victimhood, they want to recruit you into
Greatness.
greatness and success and many things that will be positive. That being said, if any of this information is helpful to you, if this conversation, guys, make sure you move it around. You know what I mean?
Like,
let other people
comment,
exactly. You know what I mean?
share,
subscribe.
We want to hear your perspective. You know, how do you want our justice system to treat you if you ever find yourself in a little bit of a situation?
will you eat the chicken developed on the lab?
I think that most people will if the price is right. So,
Right.
and with that being said, everybody, we'll see you next time. Great seeing you.
Deuces.
Bye.